So I think for a little bit of a different perspective, I'm going to turn to Paul. Paul for Mansueto Ventures was actually running a couple sites using Drupal, including Fast Company and Inc. And he's now currently with Automatic, where he is working primarily with WordPress. So I think it would be interesting to hear some of your thoughts on, how what the differences are switching between platforms, really.
Yeah, sure. So at Fast Company, the decision to go with Drupal was very similar to the situation that Eric was in. Legacy system, not well maintained, not a lot of love internally in the organization. And the way the business was moving forward was there was a large focus on community as well, bringing user-generated content to fastcompany.com and creating sort of a hybrid of a social network and a typical publishing website. So we did a pretty large evaluation of what was out there. The previous system was Java, and again, nobody currently on staff was a super huge fan of Java. So there was a lot of interest in some of the PHP platforms that were out there. We looked at a bunch of stuff. WordPress at the time was not as far advanced into the CMS space as it is currently. It also didn't have, at the time, again, some of the social features that it does now. So we went with Drupal for a number of reasons. Largely, we're happy with the decision. Had some issues, I think, immediately with performance problems and scalability. Longer, sort of down the road, upgradability on the platform. But one sort of immediate benefit that we found was from a recruiting standpoint. Drupal actually made it far easier for us to recruit developers to Fast Company. So in New York, there's I think a fair amount of competition for programmers. The sort of startup space is interesting and exciting. You're competing also with finance, who has a lot of money to throw around at programmers, and media, not terribly sexy typically for engineers. Sorry, it's true. So I think Drupal at the time for us was an interesting point of differentiation from other media companies, and we had really thrown into the community full on. We were, sponsoring and hosting the local meetup and contributing code back, and really we're starting to see a lot of value out of being part of the open source world.